We are going to get right into our next conversation around the application of technology innovations in securing safer roads. So please welcome David Braunstein, President of Together for Safer Roads, and our esteemed panel.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. So as Kevin said, our topic that we're going to be talking about today is the role of technology and innovation in road safety, in particular, how the private sector can contribute to the improvements in road safety. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of introduction about myself and Together for Safe Roads, and then I will introduce our panelists, John Blood, Erick Gustafson, and Ed Martinez. John is with Anheuser-Busch InBev, Erick is with Marsh McLennan, and Ed is with UPS, all of whom are members of our Road Safety Coalition. So Together for Safe Roads was founded not so long ago, in late 2014, in conjunction with the Decade of Action for Road Safety. And we like to refer to ourselves as a coalition, but also a corporate social accelerator. So our goal is to bring private sector data, technology, and expertise to the road safety community. So our intent in doing that is to be a productive partner to the global road safety community and ultimately dramatically reduce traffic crashes, injuries, and fatalities. And the guiding principle that we stand by at TSR with our members and with the global road safety community is that traffic crashes, injuries, and fatalities are preventable, right? But unfortunately, that isn't necessarily the situation that we find ourselves in right now on a global level or in many communities that we live in. So let me give you a little bit of the backdrop of what we're dealing with here in the road safety community. So that as of the 2018 Global Status Report on Road Safety, we were still experiencing more than 1.35 million deaths every year on the world's roads. And you know, that actually is not only a tragedy for the individuals that are passing, but also just for the families, the communities. It affects so many parts of our society, and we really want to tackle that problem more aggressively. So let me just give you some more insight from that report. So essentially, the number of road deaths on the world's roads remains unacceptably high. Road traffic injuries are now the number one killer of children and young adults. And more than half of the global road deaths are among pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists. So we still have a lot of work to do, and we're here today to encourage everybody, not just Together for Safer Roads members, but also others who are listening, to get involved in this very worthy cause and help us drive down traffic crashes and fatalities so that we no longer have to be dealing with such a tremendous loss of life and injury on our world's roads. So with that, let me introduce our panelists. First, let me start with Ed Martinez, who's joining us on the phone today. Ed is the president of the UPS Foundation. Ed's responsible for the operations and management of global programs, investing in over 4,300 organizations and communities around the world. Ed also serves as UPS's Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. In his career with UPS, Ed has held senior management positions at UPS as corporate legal counsel and in the areas of corporate finance and accounting, risk management, and acquisitions. Ed serves on a number of boards and councils for the United Nations and civil society organizations. He is a GHAEA founding member under the leadership of the Special Advisor to the UN Secretary General. Thanks for joining us, Ed. Next is John Blood. John Blood is Anheuser-Busch InBev's Chief Legal and Corporate Affairs Officer, as well as the Corporate Secretary for the company. John holds a bachelor's degree from Amherst College and a law degree from the University of Michigan Law School. He joined the global legal team at Anheuser-Busch InBev in 2009, focusing on mergers and acquisitions, compliance, and corporate law. He then served as the head of legal and corporate affairs for the North America zone, and most recently as their global general counsel. Welcome, John.
Great to be here.
And last but certainly not least is Erick Gustafson. Erick is the Chief Public Affairs Officer at Marsh McLennan Companies. Marsh is a global professional services firm offering clients advice and solutions in risk strategy, and people. In this role, Erick leads the company's global corporate strategy for external communications and government relations. He works closely with the company's senior leadership on a broad range of issues that impact Marsh, Mercer, Oliver Wyman, and Guy Carpenter. He joined Marsh McLennan in 2008 to create the company's global government relations program. Welcome, Erick.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, with that as the backdrop, let's get right into it. I think we all, as individuals, as professionals, we know that technology is playing a larger role in so many aspects of our lives. And let's talk a little more about road safety specifically. So I'm going to start with you, John. So thanks to AB InBev for being a founding member of Together for Safer Roads. So I have two questions for you, John. One is, why did AB InBev decide to invest in partnerships like Together for Safer Roads? And the second question is, how does ABI think about helping public health and road safety communities to take advantage of the same kinds of technology that your business often benefits from? So maybe you could just tell us a little bit about how you got involved with TSR in the first place.
Sure. Thanks for having me today on the panel. It's a great topic, and I'm excited to share about why road safety is a priority for us at Anheuser-Busch InBev, the importance of partnerships, some real-world examples on road safety initiatives, and how to scale those initiatives and those learnings. For us, road safety is a priority because we have 170,000 of my colleagues all around the world. They're using the roads. Their families are using the roads. These are issues that come up in all our communities, where we are, where my colleagues are, and it's very important to them, and it's very much a personal issue for all of us. It's also important because we have a large fleet of trucks. We're traveling the roads on every continent, every day, every minute. And of course, we want to eliminate drinking and driving. And because road safety is important, we realize no one can do it alone. And partnerships are critical to this. The importance of partnerships and the impact of road safety is so important because it's a complicated issue. And like most complicated issues, you come to realize early on that you can do so much on your own, but the real impact comes working together. And you see this in other areas as well. When we look to sustainability, we look to what we can do in the four walls of our brewery about water usage. And it come to a conclusion very quickly that while that's important, to make a real impact on the community, to make a real impact where we live and work, we need to work with all the community around us. We need to work with local governments, provincial governments, state governments, federal governments. We need to work with our neighbors. We need to work with the NGOs. Once you realize that, you really start to see the importance of partnerships. And TSR is a great example of a partnership that works. It especially works for challenges that are part of the UN Sustainability Development Goals, right? The Sustainable Development Goals, right, are something that, take on these big issues. And it's only through partnerships that we can really move the needle there. And for road safety, you mentioned, the statistics they're staggering, right? The WHO, estimated 1,350,000 road fatalities a year. I mean, that number really wakes you up and sort of emphasizes how important it is to get involved with others in your community. And TSR was founded several years ago exactly with that thoughts behind, right? What can we do together? What can we do together better, right? So looking at countries to collaborate on road safety solutions like AT&T, Amazon, Walmart, PepsiCo. And today, of course, we're honored to be with great partners like Marsh and UPS. And David, thanks to your leadership, we've been able to work together with these other companies and all levels of government, right? From the most local government to national governments to multinational governments when you talk about things like the UN, all these multilateral organizations. And when you look at what TSR is doing, you really start to see the innovation. You start to see TSR focusing in on data-driven approaches. You start to see what's new that we can do. Where's the interconnectedness that we can use to get real practical solutions that we work with other private partners, but also with the governments and the NGOs. And, I can recall, one particular example in Brazil, where there's a pilot on road safety with the city of Sao Paulo, where they were really looking for the root cause. The team had identified a particular road in Sao Paulo that was having an inordinate number of accidents, an inordinate number of traffic issues. And when they looked at that, really what they did was they started to look at all different data, much of which was already there, but not connected. And using a lot of those management techniques from the private sector and applying it to local governments, we could start to get some insights and drill down into the root causes. This particular road had issues because there was sandstorms coming up and sand was getting on the road, and with that was causing accidents, despite the fact that the local government was cleaning. Every Friday they were cleaning that road. But we started to look at weather patterns, we started to look at cleaning patterns, we started to look at traffic issues, and through a series of putting these data together, we worked with the local municipality to say, let's track when the sand is on the road, let's track the cleanup crews to get that done and to get that removed, and we saw a dramatic decrease. But it's those types of insights, very much from data that may already be there, but how you connect it and how you draw the learnings out from it, that really is what something like TSR can make an impact about what we're doing. And you start to see the effects. That pilot in Sao Paulo had a 16% reduction in fatalities over a baseline from 2015. And it's because of those data-based interventions. And, and a lot of this is making an impact, right, on things like better signs, more signs, trimming trees for visibility, campaigns for drunk driving. But it's the interconnectedness of this. It's doing it together. It's doing it with the right stakeholders who make a difference that really is impactful. And then you take a look at, okay, Sao Paulo, you have this dramatic reduction. What can we do to scale this up? How can we have an even bigger impact with the learnings that we have? And you go from Sao Paulo, you go to the state of Brasilia, and now we're starting to work with the federal government of Brazil, precisely because these insights and these programs are data-driven. They're replicable through other areas. You can go in and copy and paste, and you can take something that is done in Sao Paulo and you can apply it to your own municipality and say, I too can do that because that's where the data is. And then you say, all right, how do we expand it out even further? And that's where we've been working with the United Nations Institute for Training and Research, UNITAR. What a fantastic organization. Here are folks who can go get the message out. So using what was done in Sao Paulo and other areas, we started to build toolkits. Well, let's go educate folks about what they can take right off the shelf. What can we do? Training videos. What can we do for folks can use? And the beauty of UNITAR is it's all around the world. It has the facilities. It is the expert in training and research and getting that message out. And the ability to tap into UNITAR and get that message out for municipalities to take a toolkit and apply it really has taken something that has data-driven learnings in Sao Paulo and expanded it out. We hope by the end of 21 to have about 20 countries using this, but we've already seen municipalities in Mexico, India, China, South Africa, all using this. Look, TSR is a great example of working with partners, and we look to work with additional partners, especially now that we know that we have, this new call to action about trying to reduce deaths and injuries on the roads by 50% by 2030. This road safety decade of action is really something I'm excited about and working with others. So that's why we got involved, and that's why we're even more excited to stay involved.
Yeah, thanks so much, John. That was great. And the lessons there are data and technology leads to insights. Insights leads to scalable solutions. So thanks for your contributions there. Ed, let me turn to you a little bit and talk about the great work that UPS is doing. And I've watched very carefully what UPS has done, and so many people have seen how great you've responded to COVID. But and emphasizing what it means to be an essential business these days. So can you tell us a little more about what UPS is doing and any new initiatives to accelerate the use of technology that would help us?
Great. David, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on, and UPS represented here with my great colleagues. And just a shout out to the 500,000 UPSers who have been attacking COVID, helping our communities since day one. And it's a great team, passionate about their communities, passionate about helping advance our society in one of the most incredible crises of our generation. You know, UPS really has been driving vehicles since they were invented, right? The company started in 1907 as a bicycle messenger service, and now runs one of the biggest fleets in the world, over 125,000 vehicles operating every day in over 220 countries and territories. And so safety has always been at the heart of really our corporate values, the safety of our people, the safety of our stakeholders, and most importantly, our customers and communities. Our drivers are the most professional drivers in the world. We have about 10,000 drivers that have not had an accident in over 25 years. And we call that the circle of honor drivers. But you can imagine how difficult it is to operate over 8 billion miles a year, and these drivers have not had an accident. So we invest about $200 million in our health and safety programs around the world each year, leveraging technology, whether it's automation, drone technology, and in order to have the safest drivers. You know, we always believe that the most important stop of the day for our drivers is when they get back home each night. And so we invest heavily on them, both not only, as I said, leveraging technology, but also in human intervention. But what I do want to talk about today is the work that we're doing with you, with TSR, and with our colleagues on the panel. You know, as the Decade of Action launched years ago and has relaunched now for the conclusion of the SDGs in 2030, we realized then that as a major operator of vehicles devoted to our communities, we needed to really up our game in terms of our work in the communities. We knew that here in the United States and by far all over the world, young people are disproportionately impacted by road accidents. In fact, in the U.S., it's the number one killer of teenagers. But as I said earlier, it disproportionately impacts young people. And so what we did 10 years ago is we launched a program called the UPS Road Code. And we took our best practices and made it teen-friendly, we say, young people-friendly. We put it into a 5-hour symposium. We attached to it a state-of-the-art simulator. And we partnered with the Boys and Girls Club of America to launch the program throughout the U.S. And one of the key reasons why we wanted to get into the communities that are served by the Boys and Girls Club of America is because we know that children in the inner cities, in the difficult parts of our communities, will not receive the professional training that we can offer them so that they can be not only safe drivers, but also safe passengers. And so we launched this program with the Boys and Girls Club. And as we fast forward 10 years later, UPSers have trained using this technology, along with the Boys and Girls Club, over 100,000 young people around the U.S. We took the program and we implemented it in Canada, Germany, the UK, the UAE, Mexico, Austria, and we are continuing to implement it in parts of China. Why? Because, again, young people are disproportionately impacted by road accidents. We entered into an agreement with the CDC, who has the preeminent road safety statistics and study, and they have validated that the program is, in fact, saving lives. And so what we're getting ready to do in the next several years is implement virtual reality to this program. And it has shown time and time again that those who learn using virtual reality have about a 30 to 40% successful retention rate in what they learn. We believe that virtual reality with UPS road code is going to be a game changer. So we're very, very proud of that. And we're very proud about taking state-of-the-art technology into the communities, notwithstanding using it within our enterprise, but we are taking it out into the communities. I know I'm running short on time, so I'm going to stop here and pass it on to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. And apologies to the audience and the next panel. We have just one more speaker that we're going to get to here. Erick from Marsh McLennan. Can you bring us home here, Erick? You guys are preeminent experts in risk strategy and people. Can you just wrap up for us and tell us a little more about how Marsh thinks about public health impact and technology?
The world has changed, right? And so we're living in a time where transportation has to change too. And so insurance and the role it plays in making transportation as safe as it possibly can has changed as well. We're in a time where the miles aren't falling, but it's less people and more packages and, say, pizzas or prescriptions. And so the role that we play at Marsh & McLennan is to invent new ways to ensure the good work that my colleagues in those businesses are doing. So we're looking at ways of making insurance policies more responsive to the environment. Every business, both big and small, is in the logistics business increasingly these days. They're moving their goods and services that last mile to buyers. And indeed, in this environment, many just individuals are traveling via, say, scooters or e-bikes in ways that they may not have before. So all of these things require a risk mitigation system to adapt and to enable them to proceed. So we can look at the telematics associated with scooter riding, with e-bike usage, and see how fast are people accelerating or braking? Are they driving in safe ways in bike lanes and the like? And those companies that are trying to drive their users to be safe operators see reductions in the cost of their last mile delivery. Individuals are using their personal vehicles on an increasing basis, and so trying to create new ways of financial protection for the businesses that they serve, as well as the products and the people in which the communities in which they operate. All of those things are huge challenges for society.